much for attending today's session organized by IALC, International Association of Language Centers. The topic of this week is Canada, a fantastic destination for studying English and not just the language. We have Cam Harvey from Global Village, fantastic schools in Victoria, Calgary, and now he will tell us about his destinations off the beaten track for studying English in Canada. Hello, Cam. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, Julia, thank you very much. And hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Probably just afternoon and morning. So I am Cam Harvey. I am co-president, one of the owners of Global Village. I have a bookend career with Global Village. I started my career with Global Village almost 30 years ago when Global Village was just a very small group of schools. And then, of course, it grew, as some of you may know. And then I moved into a variety of parts of the industry, higher education, high school, summer camps, and I've now come back to Global Village as one of the owners. So my book-ended career. I'm really happy to be back. Global Village now is based in Calgary and Victoria. And I thought today what I really want to focus on is really Calgary and Victoria as destinations, as just cities unto themselves. For many of you, most of the markets, when they think of Canada for language, they think of two, maybe three cities. Obviously, Vancouver, Toronto, and perhaps Montreal as the three major destinations. Um, they're great cities. I was born in Toronto. I lived in Vancouver for 15 years. However, I think that one of the appeals for me personally in coming back to Global Village was the appeal of Victoria and Calgary as destinations. So I thought I'd just spend a little bit of time today just talking about Calgary and Victoria, and hopefully give you a bit more information when students tell you or ask you for, to go to, if they want to go to Canada, what are the options? And I want to be able to give you more options other than just those three cities. So we're going to talk a little bit about the cities, and then we'll talk a bit about Global Village, our programs, and a couple other things. And then would like to leave some time at the end for some questions. So to begin, what makes Victoria and Calgary unique? And I should say that I think I said to Julia that there would be 10 reasons why they're unique. I'm going to tell you it's 10 reasons per city. So 10 for Victoria, 10 for Calgary. So here we go. Okay, so now let me see. There we go. So like I said, I just wanted just a little bit on Global Village. It started in 1997. And as you may know, Global Village was a bigger group with Vancouver, Toronto, Hawaii. Hawaii's still around. They're a partner of us, of the two Canadian schools. Um, and yeah, Calgary started in 1996 and Victoria started in 2001. So yeah, we like to think that we can fairly say that we're boutique schools. We have, as you know, we're YALC members, have been for many years, members of Languages Canada. We are accredited by EQA and PTIB, which is the Private Training Institutes branch in British Columbia. And we also can give Bildungsverlaub approval in Germany for German students. Um, so just to talk a little bit about the location, starting in Victoria. Victoria is on Vancouver Island, which is just off of Vancouver. You get in a plane at the Vancouver airport and you fly to the Victoria airport. It is literally a 15 or 20-minute flight. Um, it's also tucked in just in what we call the Straits of Juan de Fuca. So it's also close to Seattle. Um, and then Calgary is very close to Banff and Lake Louise. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. Interestingly, I'm not sure if you're following the news, but the G7 summit is coming up. So all the leaders of the Group of Seven economies are gathering in a mountain resort called Kananaskis, which is just outside of Calgary. So that'll be if you're watching the news over the next few weeks, Calgary will likely be in the news quite a bit. Okay, so let's just start with Victoria. For those of you who have not been there, it's a beautiful city. I live there part-time. I'm based in Ontario, but we've got a place in Victoria, so we come and go. It's a spectacular place. I lived there early 2000s. It was a much smaller city. It is now growing to the point where there's almost a 500,000 people in Victoria. It is the capital city of Victoria. It's really known for two major things: the government. So there's a lot of government agencies in Victoria, and tourism. Victoria is on the cruise ship route, I guess you could say. So a lot of the big cruise ships that come up from the US will stop in Victoria. So tourism, government are the two major industries. However, it is also become a bit of a destination for tech, for ocean technology. There's shipyards in Victoria as well, marine biology. Um, and I think also because of the climate of Victoria, it's the mildest climate in Canada, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. It's just become very appealing for people who want to retire into Victoria, and also for younger people that want to sort of begin their careers. And I think since COVID, you've had more and more people, families that have been moving to Victoria because of the quality of life. Um, so restaurants, pubs, cafes, lots of hiking. It's got one of the best bicycle infrastructures in the country. Separated bike lanes, so you can ride your bike year round. 70 kilometers of ocean shoreline and beaches. So being sort of on the southern tip of Vancouver Island, there's lots and lots of beaches. And because again, it's a small city, homestays are typically very close to the school, about 30 to 45 minutes from the school. And it was voted last year as the best small city for tourists by Condé Nast magazine, which is a big American tourism publication. And we are having our 25th anniversary this year. We just had a little bit of a fam tour with some agents go through last month, and it was great. We've just finished renovations on the school, new paint, new floors. It's the school's looking great. So we're going to be launching new photos and videos over the next month or so. So, 10 reasons to love Victoria. Here we go. So, capital city, like I said, we've got about almost a 500,000 people in BC. It is Canada's mildest climate year round. And for those of you who have been in Vancouver or live in Vancouver, you'll know that Victoria actually gets less rain than Vancouver. The way it is geographically, it's kind of tucked into what's known as a rain shadow. So all of the rain systems that are coming in off the Pacific, Victoria gets protected by the mountains of Washington State. And often you'll get rain in Vancouver, but it'll be sunny or not raining in Victoria. So lovely climate. It is Government Street and Chinatown are two main destinations for tourists. Government Street is for the lower 3 or 4 blocks is pedestrian only, so it's a lovely walking street. Chinatown, it's the oldest Chinatown actually in Canada. Lovely, lovely Chinatown, lots of alleys and shops that you can go and explore. Um, it is the whale watching capital of Canada, and that's year round. So you can go on whale watching tours anytime year round. See killer whales, see humpback whales, sea lions, bald eagles. It's amazing. It really is. Butchart Gardens is probably one of the most famous gardens, if not in BC, I would say certainly in Vancouver, sorry, Vancouver Island, Victoria. It's an old quarry that was converted into a large garden. So just beautiful blooming flowers year round. And for some people that really like flowers and horticulture, Butchart Gardens is a destination almost unto itself. The Royal BC Museum, right in downtown Victoria. It's got one of Canada's most comprehensive collections of Indigenous artifacts, natural history specimens, and provincial cultural heritage. It's a beautiful building right between the BC Legislature and the Empress Hotel in the Inner Harbor. Um, eh, Victoria's also got a really strong ferry culture. You can't help when you're walking downtown, you'll notice ferries, car ferries, pedestrian ferries coming and going all the time. And many of these ferries, two of them, two of the main ones actually, are going to Washington State. So there are ferries that go to Seattle, Port Angeles. You go up the north of Victoria, and of course there's the ferries that go to Vancouver, up island to Austin. So it's a really interesting ferry culture, which makes it quite unique. Beacon Hill Park, which a lot of locals call Victoria's Stanley Park. It's not as big as Stanley Park, obviously, probably maybe about 20% of the size, 25% of the size, somewhere like that. Beautiful, beautiful park. It's got the world's tallest totem pole. It sits at the very southern tip of Vancouver Island, so it gives you beautiful views of the Olympic Mountains in Washington State. Um, the Inner Harbor and Empress Hotel, in many ways, they're the kind of the central feature of Victoria. Float planes come in and take off from the Inner Harbor. Um, the Empress Hotel is one of the most beautiful hotels in Victoria, in Canada rather. It's part of the Fairmont group of hotels. Just a spectacular hotel. And the final one, I guess, would be British colonial architecture. I think one of the things that's interesting about Victoria, especially for friends of mine and people from the UK that visit it, is that they look around and they think this is almost more British than the UK. So very, very prominent British colonial architecture. So you've got this really interesting mix of a very strong British heritage, indigenous culture, and just beautiful natural landscape. So those are a few things about Victoria, 10 reasons to love Victoria, I would say. I thought I just did a little bit of research on some Vancouver Island fun facts because when people think about an island, they think, oh, this is just a small little place close to Vancouver. It's actually quite large. It's got almost 1 million people, not quite that, about 900,000 people that live on Vancouver Island. It's about 40% the size of Ireland. So it's a big, big island. It takes about 5.5 hours to drive from Victoria to Port Hardy, which is the northernmost town on Vancouver Island. Tofino, if you haven't heard of it, is one of the most famous surfing destinations on the west coast of Vancouver Island. You drive up about 2 hours north of Victoria and you drive across Vancouver Island. You go through these beautiful old growth forests until you come on the other side to Tofino. Beautiful, beautiful town. Long Beach is one of the most spectacular beaches, I would say, in the world. So for surfers, hardcore surfers, Victoria is a global destination. It's an amazing place. Um, so that's Victoria. I will now jump a little bit over the Rocky Mountains and go to Calgary. If you got into a car and you drove from Victoria to Calgary, you get over the ferry, get into Vancouver. It's about a 13-hour drive through British Columbia over the Rocky Mountains and into Calgary. Calgary has changed a lot in the last 10 years. It's grown very quickly. It's about 1.5 million people there. Um, I'll just run through the stats here really quickly. 5,000 restaurants, pubs, cafes, more. 325 plus sunny days with blue skies yearly. One of the things that Calgary is known for is just constant sunshine. So it is the sunniest city in the country. People talk about the cold weather. Well, isn't it cold? Yes, it's cold, but as the saying goes, there's no such thing as cold weather. There's only bad clothing choices. But that cold weather is offset by the beautiful prairie sunshine, which the city gets in the winter. It's a short drive to world famous Banff. I'll talk about the Rockies in a little bit as we go through our 10 reasons. Similar to Victoria, it's about 30 to 45 minutes from our homestays to the school. There's a elevated light train that is in the city, which is free to use within the city limits. And otherwise, it's fairly cheap to go from homestay. And it was voted by the same Condé Nast magazine as the friendliest city. And it doesn't take long to experience that for yourself. Going into shops, just in restaurants, Calgary is a very friendly city, and it's very sort of typical of what's known as sort of prairie hospitality. So the prairies, right in the middle of Canada, are known for their wheat and very flat, open atmosphere. So that's a little bit about Calgary. So 10 reasons to love Calgary, near the Canadian Rocky Mountains. Um, as- in addition to the beauty, one of the reasons that a lot of students choose Calgary is affordability. As you might know, Vancouver, Toronto, Canada in general, in the last 10 years has become more expensive. Canada has always been a destination for people that are looking for, slightly less expensive alternatives to the United States. But that's changed, obviously, in the last few years with Vancouver, Toronto becoming more expensive. Calgary is still got a position in the Canadian market that makes it more affordable, about 15% on average. Cost of living, rent, food, that type of things. It's getting more expensive as more people, more Canadians are moving to Alberta, moving to Calgary from more expensive parts of the city. So prices are beginning to creep up, but it's still an affordable place to live. The Economist magazine last year rated Calgary as the fifth most livable city in the world, the most livable city in the Americas. That includes the US, Canada, all of the Americas down through South America. That includes Vancouver, Toronto, LA, San Francisco, New York. And so, in addition to healthcare, in addition to education, it's the affordability factor that really pushes Calgary to the top position. Um, no conversation about Calgary is complete unless you mention the Rocky Mountains. What I find so remarkable about Calgary is its proximity to the Rockies. Calgary is sort of on the doorstep if you look east to the prairies. So it's flat, it's wheat. It's a prairie city. You turn west, you drive an hour, and suddenly these majestic mountains come out of, literally, it feels like they come out of nowhere. It's just absolutely remarkable. And it's only about an hour and a half drive from downtown Calgary. So Lake Louise, Banff, Kananaskis, where the G7 meetings are going to be in a couple of weeks, are right there on our doorstep. So we do a lot of activities. Usually once a month, we'll do a trip to the Rockies. In the winter, that means skiing, that means snowboarding. We've got a winter Rocky Mountains 2-week package program that we're going to be offering in January 2026. So that's the Rockies. The Calgary Stampede. So in the city itself, in July, end of June, July, it's a 2-week, what's called the greatest outdoor show on earth. Essentially, it's a great big rodeo. So it's got that sort of cowboy culture. Everybody wears cowboy hats. There's pancake breakfast. There's rides, festivals, music. It's just the city just explodes. Lots and lots of tourists come in for the city for those first 2 weeks of July. It's great. It's really comes alive. The plus 15, and for anybody that's been to Toronto or Montreal, you'll know that those two cities have these whole cities underground, which connect, neighborhoods, mainly for the weather in the winter. If it's cold, you can kind of live underground in those two big cities. In Calgary, we have the opposite. So the city is connected by what's called the plus 15, so it's like 15 feet above ground. All the major buildings downtown are connected, so you can be in the city all day and go between buildings and not have to go outside. Like I say, it's over 16 kilometers of walkway systems. Um, so those are the five. Yeah, 6 to 10. Banff is just an amazing town. The city of Banff is located in Banff National Park, which was Canada's first national park, established in 1885. Um, like I say, I've talked about the mountains. These mountains are big, they're tall, over 3,000 meters high in some of the peaks, and it just creates this just incredible views from below and also from the top. The Columbia Icefield, if you go north of Banff up towards Jasper, halfway you'll come across the Columbia Icefield, these enormous glaciers, which actually, as the glaciers melt, they go north to the Arctic Ocean, they go west to the Pacific, and then they go east to the Atlantic, which makes it quite unique geographically. Drumheller, which is west of Calgary, is a really interesting little town. It's known as the Badlands. It's about 90 minutes east of Calgary, and it's home to Dinosaur Provincial Park, which has got the world's largest Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil in the world. And it's also close to, it's called Drumheller. Trying to think of the exact name of the museum. Anyway, the museum in Drumheller has got the largest collection of dinosaur fossils in the world. It's amazing. Chinooks. This is an interesting. The Chinook is actually a Chinook salmon. Is what Chinook is typically connected with, but actually it's also more affectionately known as a weather system that comes in off of the Pacific. So what they'll do with Chinooks, when a Chinook hits Calgary, it can take temperatures from, for example, -20 to +10 in 24 hours. So you have these huge temperature swings that'll happen, 2, 3 times a year, usually in the winter. So it could mean you have to travel around sometimes with, 2 or 3 sets of clothing because you might be super cold in the morning and it could be, almost sweater weather in the afternoon. So it makes for a really interesting experience, living through a Chinook in a day. I guess finally, the interesting thing is that Canada is kind of also known as the Texas of Canada. It's been known historically as the energy capital, so oil and gas. There's a growing renewables energy sector in Calgary. But it's also diversified a lot into technology, finance, and film production. I think because of the access to the Rockies and the prairies, a lot of film companies have been filming a lot of movies in Calgary. So those are 10 reasons to think about Calgary and Victoria. Some reasons that you may have been aware of, but some others that you may not have been aware of. So any questions before I just go on to the schools themselves and some of the things that we offer? Okay, well, if you have any, then come up towards the end. I can certainly help you out then. Okay, so our schools, like I said, we've got the two schools. I should mention that our Calgary school, was established in 1996. So we're coming up on the 30-year anniversary next year. The school closed for a couple of years during COVID, but reopened in 2022, and is now coming up on its 30-year anniversary. Both schools, before I get into the schedule, both schools are about the same size. We'll go up to about 130, 140 students in the summer, and then we'll be at around 85, 90 students in the winter. And yeah, so very, very similar size schools. This is just our schedule. We've got three intensities, 30, 25, and 20, fairly standard. Our 25 lessons per week schedule is typically the most popular. It's morning classes, early afternoon, and then we do activities in the afternoon for students. Some of our more academically oriented students that are on a pathway towards a college or a university, will typically take the 30 lessons. And then really students that are part-time, they're here for short term, just want other things that they want to do in the afternoon. We'll take our 20 lessons per week. So these are our schedules, our level entries. We have 8 levels. Within GB 1 to 8. So you've got our Common European Framework levels here, Cambridge, IELTS, TOEIC. Um, Typically, we see like many other YALC member schools, a lot of our students coming in at the pre-intermediate, lower intermediate level. Um, you're looking at anywhere from, 8 to 10 weeks to go from one level to the next with the obvious caveat that depends on the student, depends how hard they work, all that kind of thing. So that's the entry guide. Programs. General English, of course, is our most popular program within all lessons. Weekly start dates. English for academic purposes. This program has become a little less popular, I would say, certainly since the Canadian government imposed the visa restrictions almost, what was that now? Almost a year and a half ago. We've seen fewer students take this, but it is actually also picking up a little bit now. I think as our agents get used to sort of the new system of PALs, we're seeing more students lining up for this. And I'll talk a little bit about our pathway programs in a bit, but we've limited our pathway partners to our local partners, but I'll talk more about that in a second. IELTS prep, business English. We're going to be adding business English has traditionally been offered only in Victoria, but we're going to be adding business English in Calgary for 2026. Gap year semester year. This program has been popular for a lot of our working holiday students. I didn't include it in here, but we do have a work and study program that GB is part of. It's a special RO registered recognized organization that offers IEC, International Experience Canada. These are a work and study program that was offered this past year. We took in probably 80 students into this program. Large numbers of students from Western Europe, France. We had Belgian students, we had Spanish students, we had lots of Chilean and Costa Rican students who they got agreements with Canada, and then Japanese and Taiwanese students. So the gap semester students took advantage of our IEC work study program this year. We don't know what it's going to look like for 2026. The IRCC will make a decision on whether or not they want to continue to extend this program into 2026. Obviously, we would like it to continue, but more to come on that program as we get closer to the fall. We'll probably know by October or November whether this program will be renewed for next year. So those are our programs. We have a full slate of junior programs that a couple of them that we introduced this year. I won't go into all the details of it because I'm going to be doing another one on Wednesday, our junior English programs. But we've been doing junior programs at both schools for 30 years. Our traditional classic homestay plus activities, 14 to 17. We're doing that in both Victoria and Calgary. We've relaunched it this year. It was pretty much in hibernation because of COVID. But this year we relaunched it and it's actually growing quite nicely. We're going to have well over 100 students in the program for this summer as at least at this point in the cycle. Um, we are also doing a program. I'm not sure why this is not, sorry, this should have, oh, here we go, English Outdoors. We have partnered with a company called English Outdoors in New York. You might know Rich Ambler, who's a YALC member. We were chatting at the workshop in Wales last year, and we decided to partner on this program. The concept is very straightforward. It's classes outside. in designated locations throughout the city. Rich has been running the program in New York now for 3, 4 years, and it's grown very quickly. Great feedback, small classes, very dynamic, immersive experience in the city. So we've partnered with him. So it's an English outdoors curriculum, and we're partnering with them on registrations and marketing. So if you've got any students, even for this year, we're more than happy to talk about that. And then our other programs, we were doing a residential program at St. Margaret's School. So it's a girls' school on Vancouver Island. This is our first year running it this year, and we'll have a small program. We're running a 2-week program at the end of July, early August, and it's going really well. I would say that the for me, what I want in our residential programs is the opportunity for our international students to mix with local Canadian students, in this case, Victoria students. So the way the program is structured is there's going to be the first week is going to be intensive language learning, sightseeing, excursions in the Victoria area. And the second week, they're going to be integrated with the local day camp programs that will be running at St. Margaret's School. So we're super excited about that. It's a great chance for young international students to mix with local students, use the language skills, do some fun sports activities, nature exploration activities. That's something I'm really excited about. And the nice thing about this as well is that you don't have to, we don't have to worry so much about the nationality mix because the focus is on the integration with the local kids. And that's for me, as GV grows its residential programs, I really want that to be a feature of our programs. So that's St. Margaret's School, the TAP I mentioned, and then the last one here is high school preparation. One of the things that I've been interested in doing with my previous work in high school recruiting is to position Victoria, GV Victoria, and also Calgary, but it turns out GV Victoria has become most popular, is for any students that are going to be going to a high school program starting in September, come a little early, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, in some cases, up to 8 weeks early, and get ready for the high school year ahead. So we have two things that we're offering there. We're doing just plain old high school preparation, come early, go into high school prep. They do regular general English classes in the morning, and they do high school electives in the afternoon. So the idea there is that when the school year begins in September, they're much more prepared, and that first week or two of adjustment is going to be much easier for them. We have also added a camp option. It's a 1 week and 2 week camp option at the end of August for those students that are arriving a little bit, they can't take advantage of coming earlier in the summer, but they do want to arrive a little bit early. If they're going to, for example, Kamloops or Vancouver, they can come early and then just have a fun 1 week or 2 week program in Victoria. I know a lot of the school districts do their own preparation program. So, if you've got students going to, say, Victoria School District or Saanich or Souk, a lot of agencies will be sending their kids to those programs, and that's fine. But for other school districts, this camp option is available. This is the first year we've been running it, so we'll see how it goes in terms of numbers. But I just thought I'd put it out there to our agent partners who are also selling high school and I want to offer this add-on. So that's our junior, and I could talk a little bit more about that on Wednesday, or rather Thursday this week, if anybody wants more information. University and college partners. So, as I said before the visa changes in January 2024, this was a big part of what we did. Global Village previously, when there was Vancouver, Toronto, we offered all kinds of opportunities, in Ontario, in other parts of BC, other parts of the province. When I came back, I decided I really wanted to just focus on our local partners. So we work really closely with Camosun College in Victoria, the Continuing Studies Department of UVic, North Island College, and also Royal Roads University in Victoria. In Calgary, we work with SAIT. We work with Olds College just outside of Calgary, Bow Valley College, and NAIT, which is in Edmonton. So the nice thing about this is that if we've got students that have plans to go to one of these colleges, they arrive, they study at GV. We begin as soon as we can to integrate them into NAIT. So we'll start to do tours. We'll get people from the colleges and the universities come to the school and really get the students ready for the transfer into their higher ed programs. So that's the idea behind our pathway programs. Nationality mix. Oops. So, oh, I don't know what's going on here. Okay, well, it's gone on me here. I don't know what happened to my mix, but I can tell you the nationality mix. This looks like a bit of a mystery to you, but I can tell you right now that with Calgary and Victoria, with our size, we actually have a really, really good nationality mix because we've been around for 30 years. We've got strong relationships with agents in all of the key markets. I would say between the two major regions in Latin America and Asia, they're very similar size. So LATAM, we've got Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, which are typically sitting at around 30 to 35%, which is the blue area here. Asia, so Japan, Korea, Taiwan is the orange area. That's growing. We're seeing a strong resurgence in Korea. So I would say those two regions kind of balance themselves out. So if you were to walk through Calgary and Victoria most of the year, you would see a really good mix of faces between those two regions. And then in the summer, we see good numbers coming in from Europe, Switzerland, Germany, Italy, Spain. A lot of the smaller markets will send their students for 2, 3, 4 weeks. So from this point on through till the end of August, we'll get anywhere from 15 to 20 nationalities in a school, which makes it really, really fun, along with the small school sizes. So apologies for not being able to provide the actual numbers here, but we do send out on a monthly basis our newsletter with updated nationality mixes of all the schools. So if you're not signed up for our monthly newsletters, we can give you that information as well. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you guys also have your contacts in key markets. So in Mexico, Colombia, Adriana Zuart is our LATAM rep. She's based in Mexico City. This is her email, her WhatsApp. And in Brazil, Beto Bihari, who's been in the industry for a long time, his email, his WhatsApp. In Europe, Dave Talbert, who's based in Alberta, he looks after our European partners along with me. Our head registrar, so head of admissions, is Carla O'Dwyer. Carla's been with the company for many, many years. She's fast, she's responsive, she knows what agents need, she's very easy to work with. She's based in Calgary. Those are her contact details. And these are my contact details, my email and my WhatsApp. So we're small, experienced couple of schools. We've got a variety of programs. And like so many other YALC members, our focus is on our key partners. I would like to focus on our key partners who like to focus on these smaller independent schools, which we think GV qualifies as. So there you go. There's a lot of info on Calgary and Victoria, hopefully more than you knew before. So any questions, comments? I'd love to hear from anybody that has been to Calgary or Victoria and have some thoughts on those two cities.
Sorry, Cam. Looks like they haven't been.
Um, I can tell you, I have actually been to Victoria, uh, but quite a while ago, and it was just to visit the school. And that sounds super bad. I didn't expect it not to be nice, but I was super, super surprised on how beautiful and how awesome Victoria was. I was a very big fan. um, and I think it's quite a nice place for like a language stay because it seems the center is quite easy to access. Everything is very close. The school is super centrally located. So for me, I think it's an awesome destination for a language course, to be honest.
Oh, thanks, Linda. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I know you're a fan, and Linguist has been a great supporter of us over the years. And yeah, no, but you're not wrong. I mean, I've had agents come over that have never been to Victoria. They've been to Vancouver many times, and they think, oh well, I've got an extra day. I'll just go quickly go see Victoria, come back, and they get there, and they're like, oh, this is an actual city.
Yes,
There's actually
that's
things
what
going
was
on.
surprising, I
Yeah,
think, to me.
yeah, I know, and that's only become more the case in the last 5 years. Certainly with COVID, I think a lot of people took advantage of this whole, remote working from home to live in Victoria and move to Victoria. So we love it, and we've had the chance. We lived there 20 years ago. We've come back. We live there now. It's just the quality of life in Victoria is fantastic. I think it's also for any students that are looking for a slightly smaller city experience. They're not so sure about the cold weather. Victoria is perfect for that. I forgot to mention that we also run a 50 plus program, which, as somebody who's 50 plus, or should I say 60 plus, I don't want to say that out loud, but there you go. I did. We've been, Victoria in particular has been really popular for our 50 plus students. And thank you to Linguista. We've seen some strong Swiss numbers in there. We see strong Japanese numbers. For the first time in, ever, I would say, we saw students come from Brazil this year. I want to see if I can. I did one of the programs myself, one of the activities myself. We went around one of the lakes in Victoria, and I took our students around. It was so much fun. These were students that were anywhere from 57, 58. We had a Japanese student who was almost 70. They bonded so quickly. Some of them decided they wanted to be in with the regular students. Some of them decided they wanted to be just with other 50 plus students. We try to encourage them to mix with all of our students, the younger ones in particular, because they realize that they get included, if they want, into all of the activities that the younger students want. Having said that, there is also a difference between, people that are over 50 and things they want to do, things that are interesting for them. So that our 50 plus students really bonded. They got to know each other really well. Like I say, this is a market that I'm really encouraged to see growing in Latam in particular. Brazil, we've had the first time, like I say, we had 3 Brazilian students on our just recently completed May program in Victoria. We've got some more Brazilians coming in August. We've got some of our Mexican agents who have seen this as a growing market. So some of them are thinking about doing dedicated group programs, sending individuals throughout the year, and to our dedicated 50 plus dates, which we've expanded this year. So we're offering 2 dates in Victoria in May and at the end of August. We're also offering one in Calgary in at the end of June, early July, and then also at the end of September and early October. I think what I'd like to do, I haven't decided yet. 2026 discussions are actively being concluded here, but I think we may offer more dates next year. And the nice thing about this is I would say that about half of our 50 plus students decide that they want to stay. So they'll come for the 2 week package program, then they'll stay for another 2, 3 weeks, or in some cases they'll start early. They might come a week or two early. We saw that this year with some of our 50 plus students from Quebec, because of course Quebec is a French speaking province. So we had Quebec students that came as well. So that was really fun to see that as well. So 50 plus, don't forget it. It's a great program. It's growing a lot. And we've got lots of materials for 50 plus photos, videos, dedicated calendars so that they're all on our website. So there we go. Let me just really quickly run you through uh, yeah, this is I'm just going to do a share again. Um, can you? Oh, go. There's it. Boom. Okay. You see my screen now? I think. Okay. So I just wanted to just show you the agent section of our website. We are rapidly populating this with a lot more in terms of digital content, brochures, videos, social media. So all of our materials are on here. We've got in our marketing materials section, we've got activity calendars, our logo pack, photos and videos, Spanish marketing materials, Japanese marketing materials, Korean. So if we click onto photos, we got our 50 plus on here. Our general brochures are here, so our general brochure is also on here. So you can whiz through that. We'll be updating our 2026 brochure very shortly. I did, while I've got you here, just to go back to our 50 plus for a second. You can tell I'm a little biased on 50 plus. But I love it. I think it's a great program. So would love you guys to think about it. So yes, these were the dates that I mentioned. What does it include? It's like a juniors camp, but for 50 plus students. That's the best way to think about it. So classes in the morning, materials. We do half board homestay accommodation. I would say maybe about 30-40% of our students on the program did their own accommodation. They just wanted to, have their own time. Having said that, the ones that do our homestay love it. And we've got some great families that are used to taking in 50 plus students. So I would say for anybody that you have that's interested in this program, encourage them to think about homestay because it's a really nice part of the program. And then everything else, reg fee, homestay placement fee, activities, excursions, airport pickup, etc., is all included in the program. And just some sample activities here. So this is just to give you an idea. A lot of the activities are similar to what we do with our regular students, but we do throw in a few extra options like our high tea at the Empress. We do, going and visiting markets, James Bay Market. We do the hikes. This was the one that I took students on. Um, and then our 50 plus program, we did actually going back to Victoria, one of the most popular ones was biking on the Galloping Goose, which is this trail network in Victoria. Students loved it. They just had so much fun on it. So yeah, and then in Calgary, of course, we do focus on Stampede, and then we do some canoeing on the Bow River, and then of course visits to Banff and Lake Louise. So there we go. That's about it. I could go on, but I don't want to lose your attention. So I'll leave it at that. Unless there are any other questions, um, feel free to contact me with more questions directly. Otherwise, I know this session is being recorded, so hope you had a chance to get our contact details of our managers in LATAM, Brazil, and Europe, and we are here to answer your questions and be your support.
Thank you very much, Cam. I think it was a great presentation. We received a feedback from Laura, who is particularly interested in promoting the 50 plus program, and she would like to receive the brochure. I will shortly share the details of people who registered for the session with you. So you will
Awesome.
to reach out to them. Thanks a lot. And for those of you who want to continue this training day with us, the next session in 10 minutes is the program that Cam mentioned, English Outdoors, and the summer program for juniors in Toronto, and that's starting in 10 minutes. Thank you very much for being here with us today. Thank you, Cam. You are a great presenter, and I'm sure you convinced everyone that Victoria and Calgary are fantastic destinations to study and explore in Canada. Thank you.
Thanks, Julia. Thanks, everyone.